What is up YouTube, I'm Royal, I'm rank 1 Wild Rift, and in this video I will give you my picks for the best mid laners to pick up in 2025 to climb in ranked. These champions have been proven to be good across many different metas, but are especially strong right now. I also believe that these champions are unlikely to receive nerfs in upcoming patches, but even if they do, they're so well suited for the meta that some major changes would need to happen for them to fall off. Before we get started, if you want to see a similar video for other roles, please leave a like so I know that you enjoy these types of videos. Let's start off with my favorite champion, Kassadin. Mages and other magic damage dealers are extremely powerful in the current meta, and while win rates aren't everything, let's look at the highest win rate mid laners. Kassadin hard counters 17 of the top 19 mid laners and has okay matchups against the other two. His magic damage shield really demolishes these burst mages. Riot has been steadily nerfing the early game of every ADC champion that's good in the mid lane, like Tristana, Lucian, and Ezreal, which are the biggest counters to Kassadin. Now that he doesn't have to worry about these pesky AD champions, he can completely dominate the mid lane. The durability patch was also a massive buff for Kassadin. While pretty much every other assassin got nerfed, Kassadin became stronger. The durability patch allows champions to scale better into the late game, and while most assassins want to get an early game lead and snowball, Kassadin wants to scale into the late game, reach his rank 3 ultimate, and completely take over the late game. Let's go over Kassadin's build. First off, you want to rush Boots of Mana. Kassadin is usually super weak in the early game, but these boots give you enough damage to bully mages in lane and actually do a lot of early game damage. After your boots, pick up Tear so you can start stacking it as fast as possible, but don't finish your Archangels just yet. Pick up Rod of Ages first to start stacking both the Tear and the Rod of Ages at the same time. Only then finish your Archangels. Next, you will always get Rabadon's Death Cap as you already have a lot of AP and benefit massively from the multiplier on its passive. Now you can finish your Stasis enchant, which is extremely important for teamfights as Kassadin wants to go in, use his spells to one-shot someone, but then until his ultimate cooldown is back up, he's very vulnerable. Stasis allows him to gaze cooldowns back and give his team a chance to follow up. At this point in the game, you should also be hitting level 13. This is when you finally become the strongest champion in the game. 3 items, Stasis, fully stacked Archangels, fully stacked Rod of Ages, level 13, rank 3 ultimate, it's time to take over. For your last 2 items, they're very situational. One more burst, go Infinity Orb or Lichbane. One more survivability, Crown or Psychic Projector. Versus tanks, go Riftmaker. You're versus shielding, Ocean's Trident. For runes, many different rune sets are good depending on matchups. I don't have time to explain all of them here, but if you want an in-depth casting guide, make sure to comment below. For now, just make sure you're getting First Strike as your keystone. It will increase your damage and help you reach your power spikes faster with the added gold. Fleet Footwork is also decent and will help you sustain the early game, but you won't get to your power spikes as fast. Before we move on to the next champion, please check if you're subscribed. The majority of you that watch my videos are not subscribed, and that makes me a sad Timo. Now let's move on to the next champion, Viktor. Despite a few nerfs, Viktor continues to be one of the strongest mages in the game, and like I mentioned previously, mages are very strong. Like I said, win rate is not that important, it doesn't mean everything, but Viktor has consistently been the highest win rate mid laner since his release. The durability patch was also a buff for Viktor. Unlike burst mages and assassins who rely on quick kills, Viktor thrives in extended fights. The extra survivability means he gets to output more damage in fights as he stays alive longer. Similar to Kassadin, Viktor is on the weaker side in the early game. However, he can still win a lot of matchups if played properly. First off, make sure you're using his first ability Shield to block damage so you can have an advantage in trades. His third ability has insane range, so you can poke down your enemies without giving them a chance to trade back. Once you get your first Hexcore upgrade, your laser can easily wave clear from a long distance, making laning phase very safe. Viktor really begins to shine in teamfights. His damage is just out of this world. You do so much AoE damage with your ultimate and your laser, while being able to kite out bruisers and tanks with your movement speed on your first ability and slowing them once you have all your hex core upgrades. Your goal is to scale up and dominate teamfights. For your build, I have seen a few different builds work, and honestly, I'm not sure which one the best is. You can choose to go a normal mage build with First Strike, Ludens or Lichbane Rush, into building Infinity Orb and Death Cap for max damage. But a more niche build that is super strong right now is Flea Footwork with Lichbane and Cosmic Drive for the movement speed, where you do your combo and then sprint away with insane movement speed until your next combo is up. Fleet also gives you a lot of sustain in lane. For the rest of your runes, just make sure you're picking up Shield Bash and Empowered Attack as they synergize great with your first ability. Next up, we have one of the most challenging champions in the game to play, and that's of course Yasuo. Yasuo thrives in the right team compositions, especially when paired with champions who can set up his ultimate. If your team has knockups, Yasuo becomes a win condition on his own. If not, he requires precise mechanics and game knowledge to succeed. However, his tank build is a lot easier to play as you get punished way less for mistakes thanks to survivability, so you don't need to be a god Yasuo to make him work. Yasuo has two different playstyles: crit damage Yasuo or tank Yasuo. Tank Yasuo has been absolutely dominating and is definitely the stronger Yasuo build right now. Make sure you take Grasp of the Undying as your keystone and Legend Alacrity to get more attack speed, but then you can choose between Precision or Resolve runes. For your build, you want to go Plated Steel Caps into Witsends, giving you both armor and magic resist right away. Then pick up Divine Sunderer, Mortal Reminder, and Twin Guard for tankiness. If the enemies don't have a lot of magic damage, you can replace Witsends with Blade of the Ruined King. The durability patch actually made this build even stronger because more survivability allows for Yasuo to constantly heal up with Witsends, Grasp, and Divine Sunderer. Also, while the Grasp changes seem like a nerf initially, they have actually benefited Yasuo a lot by making him even tankier and added to his survivability. Last but not least, the queen of the mid lane, Orianna. Orianna is the ultimate mage. She has great poke, great burst, great sustained damage, a shield, a speed up, a slow, and a game-defining ultimate. Orianna might be the most complete mid laner in the game. She's quite tricky to pick up. Her ball mechanic makes her a very unique champion, so she takes some time to learn before you can play her properly. The great thing about Orianna is how versatile she is as a champion. If you get fed, she has the damage to completely take over teamfights and carry the game, especially with a well-placed shockwave. But Orianna can also be a great utility champion. If you have a very fed member in your team, you can constantly shield and speed them up, making them even stronger. For your build, you will usually be rushing Archangels after your Boots of Mana, and then you have a lot of choices. You can pick up Ludens for better poke, Infinity Orb for more burst, or my personal favorite, Magi's. Since Orianna is so safe with her long range, shields, and speed ups, it's easy to stack Magi's without dying. For your third item, make sure to always get Death Cap. Your last items are always situational, but I recommend picking up Crown for the added safety. These are my picks for the best mid laners for ranked. If there is a champion you think I should have included, please let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe for more Wild Rift content.